took down an active shooter before he could hurt anybody. He didn't get the kids. He didn't get anybody else in the church. All right, the church caught on fire. That's bad. But we're going to talk about this. It's a complex attack. Just like we saw in Michigan again. Michigan, you guys are in so much trouble. You are more in danger, it seems like, than anybody else. I really got to do a Christian Warrior Academy in Michigan. You guys are kind of off the hook with active shooters there. You guys stopped it. There's a lot of lessons to be learned. We're going to debrief what happened here. We're going to talk about what happened, what we know so far. I haven't come on earlier because everybody had speculation earlier. I vetted the information I have so far. I'm going to give it to you so that you can help protect your church a little bit better. All right. I can see a bunch of people coming in. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm just making sure everything's good to go. Let's break down what happened. I've got a little ticker down at the bottom right there. Kind of gives you a little idea of what's going on. We went to red before I start breaking this down. I have another video that just came out. A lot of people are watching it right now, and we raised the church security threat level to red. This has been in the works for a couple of days. Yesterday, we decided, we need to go to red. But it's hard to make these things happen it doesn't happen overnight. To go to red, what goes into it is we talk to Joint Terrorism Task Force agents. We talk to intel analysts from various agencies. They're all friends of mine that help me do stuff for Christian Warrior. And I talked to just a lot of different people to get the scope of what's going on. Then we read all the intel coming in, and we decided to go to red yesterday. And I had warned you last week that there was going to be a church shooting this week. I wish I was wrong, but it's not. And the Bible actually tells us. I've got a great Bible verse for the end that I want to talk to you about, and it's in Luke, and it tells us to pay attention to these things. I want you to watch the video about why we went to red. What I didn't explain in there is all the stuff that goes into adjusting it. It's just an intel bulletin that tells you why we're at red. But there's so much that goes into it, and that's what I feel horrible that I couldn't have got it out quicker. I went up until 11 o'clock last night. I was tired. I've worked about 18 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed and I'm going to work on it in the morning. And then this happened. So I should have kept working straight through. I just wanted to make sure I didn't make mistakes. And I don't know if it would have made a difference. Either way, the guy shot and killed the bad guy, and that's what's good. So let's break down what happened. It looks like everybody's in here. All right. So what happened? This happened at Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Michigan, you've had so many active shooters at churches. I don't even know what to say. It's kind of predictable, to be honest, with your population base. All right. So the attacker, he's armed with a rifle. I heard that it might have been 2, but I can't confirm that. I heard there also might have been a full auto AK and some converted Glocks. That has not been confirmed. That's low confidence, but I want to throw it out there that obviously he was ready to go. Now, he crashed into the facility. I should put up a video so you can see what I'm talking about here. He crashed into the facility, and he actually drove through the front doors and down the hallway in the church. Now, I've been warning you guys forever that you need bollards in front of your church. Now, look right here in the front here. And you can see, I don't think you can see my cursor, but you can see the front door, the smoke coming out, cops taking horrible cover on the left behind that tree. That just looks ridiculous. But you can see 2 bollards right there at the entrance. But there is a huge space between the tree and those bollards. You got to tighten this stuff up, people. I've been telling you, I don't know how to tell you anymore. Nobody wants to, in that Saturday bulletin, for 2 years now, I've been telling you that ramming attacks are on the increase. In fact, it reminds me of this one right here. This is the LDS church in Michigan where they didn't have security. Ramming vehicle attack. Remember, I've been telling you guys, and I predicted it last week. I said that it was probably going to involve a complex attack where they're going to ram light on fire and shoot just like Michigan or just like the LDS church here. And we're seeing it again. So you know what's going to happen? You're going to see it again. All right. The churches don't have security teams. I see the comment. I just answered a comment earlier about going to red. Somebody made the comment, I'm in a small church in a strip mall. Nobody's going to hit us because we're so small. The largest church shooting in modern history, almost 50 people shot, like 25 dead, was in a church of less than 100 people. I don't know what to tell you guys. Everybody needs security. You better take it seriously. I don't like being right. I predicted this last week. I don't like that. But the Lord is giving us the information. You need to pay attention. All right, let's go back to this initial attack here. Attacker's armed with a rifle. I told you there might have been some other weapons in there. The vehicle caught fire once it's inside. How did it catch on fire? Don't know. He could have done what the other guy did at the LDS church and then pour gas everywhere and light it on fire, or the vehicle could have caught on fire. Now, I can tell you from my experience, vehicles don't catch on fire very easily from crashes like this. I mean, you're hitting glass and you're driving down a hallway. There's not much there. So I'm going to predict that he probably lit it on fire in some way. He did have explosives in the back. There is some reporting that it's mortars. I don't know where a dude's going to get a 60 millimeter or 120 millimeter mortar. That's not something you just pick up. Now, as a narc, we've bought grenades and claymores. Okay. And another team got a law rocket and M72, but that's really rare. That probably was going to be some homemade explosives that were rigged up in some way to start a fire. All right. So security engaged the attacker when he got out, and then they killed him. This is why you need armed security. Now, California. I'm going to be in California coming up here in a couple of weeks, teaching a 2-hour class. I put it up over at christianwarriortraining.com. Go over there and sign up. They screwed up on how many seats are available, so it's showing you that it's unavailable. Look, man, just sign up and get your ticket. They redid it. There's 200 seats available. I asked the people putting it on, can we move it to a larger place? Because I know we can fill up with a couple hundred people, or probably 600 people is what I'd like. The more the merrier. If I'm going to do 2 hours of training, let's pack it in there. All right. One security officer, he was struck by the vehicle and he was taken to the hospital. It's my understanding that he had a pretty good leg injury when he was struck by the car. And he also had a head injury. He was unconscious. Now, the synagogue had a preschool, and he had, sorry, I'm changing stuff for you guys to look at while I talk. Their synagogue had a preschool, and it had early childhood center on campus, which, obviously raises the stakes there. Now, thankfully, no children were injured. The kids were evacuated. They were moved out. Now, some things to note. This is one of the largest Reformed Jewish congregations in North America, and they have thousands of family in a large campus. I heard there's upwards of 12,000 people that belong to this synagogue. Now, interestingly enough, don't go down a rabbit hole. I'm going to show the FBI agent again because it has to do with the FBI. The FBI conducted active shooter preparedness training there in January. All right. Now, there are a bunch of people saying because of that was some false flag. People stop watching Candace Owens. She is a nut job. Tucker Carlson, man, I used to like him, but he's going off the deep end too. You got to stop listening to these people because the FBI, they do training like this all the time. And if they're going to do a false flag, it's not going to be at a church that has armed security. They're going to go to a church where nobody's at and take a bunch of lives. I get it that the government is untrustworthy. My biggest selling shirt says trust God, not government, Acts 5:29. And, nobody hates the government more than me, but that's the wrong hill to die on. Okay. Don't go down that. Don't go down that hill. But they did conduct that training ahead of time. And what does it show? Do training. Train 4 hours every month. All right. Now, even with preparation, attacks are still going to happen, right? So the question is going to become whether security team can stop it fast enough. When we do active shooter training, did somebody just put in there Christianity is evil? Jesus still loves you, brother. Even though you think Christianity is evil, Jesus still loves you and we still love you. Hopefully you repent for your sins and come to Christ. Sorry, didn't mean to walk. I just happened to look over and see that. All right. When we do active shooter training, we see good professional teams. I want to say professional. They're volunteer teams, but they train all the time. They'll stop an active shooter within 8 seconds of shooting in the church. It's usually within like 2 seconds. But in that, you usually have at least one person shot, and you have to know that when they come in, that you've got to get there as fast as you can. So you have to have enough security to deal with that. All right, let's move on. So we know what happened. Easy enough. Guy rams his vehicle through. Could have been stopped with properly placed bollards. He drove through the vehicle through the hallway. Fire erupts. It's filled with explosives. He comes out with an AR to engage everybody. Gets killed by security. Nobody else killed. Security guards injured from being hit by the vehicle. That is an absolute win. All right. So what can I got everybody going. I got everybody going in the YouTube chat because of my comments about Tucker and Candace. All right. Never talk about politics. All right. So what can churches learn from this? All right. The attack didn't start as a typical active shooter. You guys are thinking he's going to come in, be hidden, pop up in the sanctuary and shoot. Now, look, most of the active shooters, they start in the parking lot. We saw this in Michigan last year. A guy rode his vehicle really quick through the parking lot, jumped out with an AR, got into a firefight with security till a deacon came in and ran him over. And security guard got shot, suspect's dead. Compare that to the LDS ward that was hit. And in that one, 10 people were shot, 4 died. And it goes to show you security works. And that was with law enforcement being on scene within 90 seconds of the first, which is phenomenal. That is totally God putting that officer in the right place. So have a security team, have them armed. All right. I know in Michigan, there's a law that says church elders or somebody has to approve people to conceal carry in a church. Michigans, you really need to work on your legislature in repealing that to where anybody with a CCW can be in a church so you can protect your people. All right. I think that you're going to see more complex attacks like this. Last week, I warned there was going to be an active shooter. Somebody was going to use a vehicle to initiate that assault, followed by possibly fire explosives and gunfire. We're going to see this more, so prepare for it. That means that you are going to need bollards in front of your church to stop the attack. Okay? Don't know how much else to tell you that. You want to ask yourself a simple question. How close can a vehicle get to your main entrance right now, and can it stop it from going through and down the hallway? Just want to take a note for a minute. I forgot to mention, I'm wearing my Tactical Christian Warrior shirt right now. This is the shirt that I like wearing this one because like when things go, I don't know, it's just living my SWAT days again. You can get the Christian Warrior Training camo shirt and you just order it in green. You can get one with a white emblem. You know, you can do all sorts of cool stuff, but you can get that in the merch store if you hit the tab up top. All right. So some other things to remember about this incident. It happened during daytime operations. And a lot of people, like during the weekday. And people think that attacks are only going to happen on Sunday morning. A majority of attacks happen during the week. A clear majority. A clear majority of violent crime occurs during the week. And it happens during the daytime, and 75% happen in the parking lot. So take that data, and we're going to talk about what the Bible says about the things that we're talking about here. And I want you to read the Bible, and then I want you to think about all of this stuff and how you're going to protect your church. Now, security, stop the attacker quickly, and that likely saved lives. You're not going to have time to get a rifle. Everybody wants to have a rifle at church, and I think that's awesome. I think there is a place for it. But your pistol is used to fight your way to the rifle, and if that means I got to stop them right now, then that's what you do, and then you go get your rifle later. So start practicing with your pistol. Start thinking about somebody driving through your hallway in church and lighting it on fire with explosives and getting into a gunfight inside. If you see me, a lot of you guys come to my church when you're visiting Boise, and I see you guys. You guys always stop and talk to the church security and ask if I'm around, and I'll always talk to you if I'm around. But if you see me standing post and I'm at my church, I can guarantee you I'm going through these scenarios in my head. I'm smiling, hey, welcome to the church, wonderful to meet you. And in between, I'm thinking about all these different ways of people attacking the church. It's called tactical visualization. Tactical visualization is thinking about complex attacks like this one right here, and how do I defeat it, and how am I going to work it? What am I going to say on the radio? What am I going to say to the suspect? I visualize shooting them to stop them, right? So the biggest thing here is, I've been saying this forever, you cannot outsource your security to the police. There is nobody coming to save you. It is just you. Well, Jesus saved us. Let me change that. There is nobody coming to help you. Law enforcement response time for one of my campuses is 9 minutes. On another one, it's 3 minutes. You're going to get everybody, but it's going to take a while for them to get there. And so a lot of people, their plan is, well, the police will come. Okay, they'll come in about 3 minutes. And that's just for one guy, okay? So again, remember layered attacks here. Vehicle, fire, gunfire, and explosives. And that's the thing that you need to think about. Again, we warned you last week it was going to happen. Now let's talk about the geopolitical context here. Now, we are in a very dangerous global moment right now, and you have to realize that we're at war, and there are people that want you dead. You have different threat streams here. One threat stream is ISIS and Al-Qaeda. ISIS and Al-Qaeda have ordered their people and asked lone wolf attackers, like, this is going to be a lone wolf attacker. This is definitely not going to be some kind of cell. To go attack Christians in synagogues. So why aren't you preparing for that? The second threat stream is Iranian proxies. Now, I assess that, let me back up, the most likely scenario is going to be this. It's going to be a lone wolf attacker that is going to come to your church and come attack it. Now, I'm showing the LDS church just so you can compare here. That is your biggest threat. That is most likely. Now, likely. What is likely? That there's going to be a complex attack from Iranian proxies. Now, some of the proxies have told Iran that they're not going to fight. And we saw that in Iraq. I think a lot of the ones in America, they've married Hispanic women. You can see my interview with the Joint Terrorism Task Force agent assigned to Hezbollah, where he talks about this stuff over at ChristianWarriorTraining.com. I just put it up again. That is a video we did 2 years ago that we're talking about, that this day is coming. So look, you got that. Now you have the proxies. All right. They may or may not decide to do something. So we're going to put that in the likely bucket. The least likely bucket, but you can't ignore, is Iran, like a direct attack from Iran. Now, if they do that, we heard about like the possible drones. I did a video on the California drone issue over at Christian Warrior Prepper. I've linked to all my channels here. Christian Warrior Prepper, Christian Warrior Training, and Christian Warrior Bible Study for Warriors. Come join me every Sunday. All right. That is probably not going to happen in real life. An attack from Iran. I don't think they can't even defend their own country right now, but you can't discard it. So we're going to put it in the least likely bucket. Could happen, right? Now look, terror groups, extremist movements, and radical activists, they're all feeding off this same environment. And all the crazy people, the demonically possessed people, they're seeing this and they're like, heck yeah, man, I want to get in on this. And they decide they're going to attack a synagogue or a church. Okay. The rhetoric is getting louder. We even have people on the left that are coming out and saying that they want people like lone wolf actors like this to attack churches and to, quote, leave us normal people alone. And they're listening, okay? Now, churches, you need to understand this very clearly, that religious institutions are symbolic targets. You're a target. And you better act like it. Now, I'm going to go into the biblical perspective. I want to talk about the Bible because I got a great section in the Bible that I want to talk about. But before I do that, If you have questions, I want you to put into the chat question, and then whatever your question is. It makes it easier for me to find it because there's a lot of people kind of just going off in there in the in the comments. So it makes it easier for me to find you. All right. Um, Substack, man, I don't know if I can find you. Let me see if I can get those questions from Substack. Let me look. Oh, there they are. They're Substack. Let me mute that. All right. I can see Substack. I just pulled your question. I just looked so I can be able to see your questions right now. So, all right. Let's talk about the Bible. Go ahead and get those questions loaded up for me. The biblical perspective. Look, the Bible's very clear that followers of God are going to face opposition, right? In John 15, verse 20, if they persecuted me, they're also going to persecute you. Jesus warned believers that hostility is going to come. And scripture also tells us to be alert and sober-minded. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, he says, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion. Now, that means that you have to be watchful, but be spiritually aware and physically prepared. We're in a spiritual war right now. And Christians, we're not called to live in fear. Okay, we pay attention to the times that we're living in. And only go to, this is my new favorite verse. Okay, verses. And I want you to pay attention to Luke chapter 12, verses 54 and 56. And it says, he also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising in the west, you see at once a shower is coming, and so it happened. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, there will be scorching heat. And it happens. He says, you hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? Why are you, I never in a million years thought that I would be here waving a Bible in front of people and preaching, but the Bible is super clear about this. You guys need to be on it, man. Pay attention to what's going on. Stop the excuse of, I'm in a small church. Nobody's going to hit us. Or I'm in a big church with a ton of security. Nobody's going to hit us. Nobody's off limits, guys. I hope you pay attention to that. All right. I'm going to go to questions. Now, YouTube, you guys tend to go a little crazy. So I'm going to go to Substack first. And I hope you find me over at ChristianWarriorTraining.com. In fact, let me put that up for you. For all of you people that are on YouTube, join me at ChristianWarriorTraining.com. Sign up for my newsletter. If you want to support what we're doing with the church security threat level system, running churches, letting everybody know, a piece of subscription goes a long way, but it's not required. You'll still get all the intelligence and training. I have training for free over there, but a paid subscription helps me run all of this and pay for everything. I had $250,000 in expenses, so it's free training and free intelligence, but it's free to you, but not for me. So just a heads up on that. I never thought that I'd have that turn into what it has been. All right. Sorry, let me go back to here. All right. Joel has a question. How do we schedule your training in Southern California for those of us who aren't conveniently geographically to Northern California? All right. So I've been to Southern California twice. I may return. The problem is like I only do 4 appearances a year because it kills me, and I'm trying to like spend time with my family and travel. I'm supposed to be tired, but I screwed that up. So it'll happen. Just wait. Crusader 009. See you in Sacramento. For your Sacramento training, can you us carry during the class? I know many places, especially in California, don't have live ammo at their training facility, even at a gun range. I have no idea. Do it anyways. They'll tell you no. All right. Probably covered this, but what basic training should the congregation receive? Duck and cover, then what? All right, that's a good question. Here's what I would tell my congregation. We tell our pastors that when an active shooter erupts, for everybody to get down, announce there's an active shooter, and to not interfere with the church security team. When everybody's on the ground, we ask our concealed carriers to kneel. And that way we know who an extra good guy is, and we tell them just to worry about the space in front of 'em. If there's somebody across the congregation, don't worry about it. It's not your problem. Worry about your family and the people around you. In front of you, man, due diligence, take care of that, right? Um, but we have them lay down, and we have the, concealed carriers take a knee, and we brief them every 2 years. We have a briefing for our church security or for our concealed carriers. So that's what I would if you have a video on practical CST comms plan for the team. I don't know what CST is. Also, do you travel and give smaller church security team training. I got it. Um, and a basic comm plan, to be honest, is to I use Link radios, and it's in the description of most of my videos. I'd appreciate if you hit my link because Link keeps giving me free radios because I keep talking about them, but I like it. Don't drop it. It's fragile, but it's cellular. And this is a new one, Wi-Fi. So if you have Wi-Fi in your church but no cellular, it'll still work. It's pretty nice. I talked to my son in Mexico from here in Idaho, and I was in Canada and talked to a friend in, Idaho. It works everywhere. It's wonderful. And right now, they have a deal with a free SIM card. But again, use my link. Go to any YouTube video or, like, go to the YouTube video I just posted on, changing the threat level to red. In the description is a link for this. It helps me a lot. I appreciate it. I'll try and put it in the link here for the replay as well. Um, oh, is my audio getting screwed up? Let me fix that for you. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing. I need a producer to do everything for me. We'll leave it at this. Aw, thank you for the super thanks, man. That's awesome. All right, Jeff Zaffarelli. I love it. Jeff worked for the fire department in my area. We worked together for a very long time. Um, I am I'm coming to Sacramento. You can go to christianwarriortraining.com. If you go to christianwarriortraining.com, there's a thing for the Sacramento training, and you can sign up there. The link is over there. All right, question. What are your thoughts about taking a PCC or an SBR to church as a member of church security? Um, I have it right. I can't do it because of YouTube, but I actually have a, an SBR that I take into church with me, and so I put it in backpacks so nobody can see it, and it'll help you out. I would do it. My personal sorry. Let me just, I wanna put this back up here again real quick. I want people to be able to see this. Sorry, I don't have a producer, so I'm doing it on my own. Alright, a lot of people are complaining about the audio. Hopefully, I've have fixed it. Man, that sucks. Could be that they just don't want me talking. Alright. I'm gonna keep talking in case it comes back. Do you have a recommended church or do you have a recommended med kit you would recommend for church security carrying? I'm actually evaluating a bunch right now, so hopefully you'll see something pretty soon. Um, thank you, David, for the kind words. I appreciate that. Audio's still breaking up, huh? That's my audio now. I'm gonna get this is like 10-second delay for everybody. Um, so Rick says you said that all CCW permit holders should carry. How does a team separate the good from the bad when an active shooter is in progress? We've always, not allowed carriers unless they're on the team. Missouri doesn't allow carriers in church like this is a hard issue. Alright, so you gotta have a meeting with your concealed carriers. People are gonna carry anyways, whether it's lawful or and how we do is just like how I talked about it before. We have the congregation lay down during active shooter, and then we have concealed carriers take a knee, and we make them come to a concealed carrier where we feed them breakfast and we talk about what we want them to do, which is to take a knee and worry about themselves and to leave us alone. and let us do our work. That's the best way that you can handle it. I'm going over to YouTube. We're in audio. Thank you for the kind words. All right. Audio's still bad, but it's better when I show the LDS shooting. What's funny is when I watch it on YouTube, because I can see myself, it looks, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting like, I got 900 up and 900 down, so all right. Since my mic is going out, I apologize that my audio sucks. Hopefully, that wasn't the whole time. If it was the whole time, I'll, uh, I'll redo the video and get it back up for you. Alright, I think we got everything. Our wife wants to meet me for dinner, so I need to go see my wife. You guys have, just a very safe couple of weeks. I think we're in some dangerous times. I'd like you to go to Christian Warrior Training and on, um, watch my video on why we're going to red. And I need you to watch it all the way through. There's important information in there. It's a long video. I apologize. It's like 20 minutes long. I will do a briefing tomorrow on Friday for your Sunday services to get us ready. But we're entering dangerous times. There is going to be another church shooting before Easter, if it's not on Easter. So be ready, guys. All right. You guys have wonderful, safe time. I want you to remember your ABCs. Always be caring.